During my time in South Africa in 2019, while restoring my Land Cruiser 105 with Paul Marsh and Hubert Snyman, we worked alongside Land Cruisers of all shapes and ages. Many were on their way to being brought back from the dead. I'm Andrew St Pierre White. Join me as I share my passion for building four-wheel drive trucks and travelling to the remotest parts of the world.
These vehicles Hubert imports from Australia and sources them, and people bring them to him to rebuild. And what's really interesting, a truck will come in like this and often in much worse condition. I've seen some of them really, you wouldn't want to even think about rebuilding it. And the whole process starts, and you'll take this old vehicle and you'll see the potential because it's actually probably still original, and they'll strip it down to every last nut and bolt. The body comes off the chassis, everything gets redone, and you have this beautiful vehicle emerging from what was probably a rusty old heap. It's just very rewarding.
60s. Are these quite common in South Africa? I mean, I've seen a few of them around, but are they reasonably common here?
There are a lot of rust on the 60s. We find they do suffer from rust more than the others, more than the 80s actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think that was one of the challenges. No, but you do get them. I mean, it's still a very solid old truck. They're not as comfortable, and I think that was the big changeover when it went
the
from
80
60
was
to 80.
far
The 80
more
was
comfortable,
a really comfortable
quieter,
truck.
nicer. Yes, it was.
Yeah, really good truck.
There is scarcely a Land Cruiser lover alive that doesn't absolutely love the 40 series. This is the classic in terms of Land Rovers. This is the equivalent, really, of the Series 1. And we've had the pleasure of working for the last week on my vehicle, surrounded by these magnificent restorations. And this particular one is a left-hand drive. It's destined for North America. A lucky client there has had it rebuilt. This vehicle originated, actually was imported into Namibia. It was used as a hunting vehicle, and Hubert got his hands on it, rebuilt it, and now he has a very, very happy client about to come and take his new, very shiny Land Cruiser 40 away with him. Tell me about, how do you find the vehicles? And when do you know you've got, and describe to me, the perfect find?
Yeah, the perfect find. So you usually get cars every day coming past, and every day you see a Land Cruiser, it's on the road. And then now and then you get something special coming around. And then if we take this Trooper, it is such a perfect little car because no one has touched it. It is still the original car as the day it was bought, and then you know you've got something special. You can take this car and repair it back to factory standard without repairing someone else's work. That for me is finding the perfect Land Cruiser, old Land Cruiser. Then you can, everything is there, every bolt is in place where it should be. It's not someone taking the old car, throwing all the bolts in one box, and now you wonder where this and that, and then you find 5 different bolts on the hinge. All the bolts are the same. So then you know you found something special. You can find another one down the road, but someone has already painted it and didn't take the time to see if, let's make it as it were the day it was bought.
He said, son, let me tell you a story. When I was young, I had dreams years of glory. All these mistakes seem to come like a flood, until my days, they were done. But I don't wanna feel like wishful thinking. Pick myself up and move to the beat of my heart and my soul. Sing a song for the dreamer.
We have a very unusual vehicle sitting here. It's a vehicle that I bought for a client of mine sitting in Canada. It started life out as a troop carrier, got brought into South Africa, and then was modified by a company called Miano's Autocraft. And they specialized in turning vehicles, single cabs, into a double cab in the early days, long before Toyota started building their double cabs. So what's really exciting is because it's much older, it qualifies to be exported out into Canada, which is really nice. And we've taken this vehicle to a full restoration. The whole cab has come off the chassis has been cleaned and painted, the bodywork's all being done, the engine is being rebuilt. It's a 1HD FT motor which is inside this vehicle. Beautiful setup, lovely strong gearbox, diffs have been redone, diff locks, fuel tanks cleaned out, but most importantly we've put a really good suspension on this truck. And I haven't run with the Terrain Tamer parabolic suspension, so this has been fitted to this truck. I'm really excited because I've used parabolic suspension and it does make a difference to the ride. I'm keen to see how the new shock absorbers, the remote reservoir shock absorbers with the adjustment, how we can use those, and just really to get to grips with how this vehicle is going to drive, how it's going to perform, and how the suspension is going to just change the drivability of this vehicle. And I know there's some interesting stories behind these vehicles. So Yube, tell us about this one.
A couple, they're actually in their 70s, and they bought this vehicle when they were still young, and they've traveled the whole Africa with this car. And but over the years, rust, living close to the coastal area, it basically rusted away. It was so bad that when they brought it to me, I could actually rip the back load box off, and so bad the rust was. And I said to them, it's not worth repairing. It's going to cost a lot of money, and they can buy a newer one or a better model one and better condition. And they just said, no, this is our car, we traveled the whole Africa with it, and we want it back to new again, and because we still want to travel in it. And the sucker I am for a good story, I took it on. I actually had to hide it in my shop because everyone that came into the shop said to me, I'm crazy to do it. And I said, well, I had worse, so I'm going to do it. They gave me a timeline of 6 months to do it, and I did it. I delivered the car last year, December, and they're very, very happy with the end product. I had to replace a lot of body parts on it. We built a new low body, but yeah, we saved what we could save, and we reconditioned the engine, gearbox, diffs, brakes, new suspension. It's basically a brand new bucky. The owner of the car, she actually cried when she saw the pictures, and yeah, I think it's one for the books.
Absolutely, well done.
I mean, that's a vehicle that has just arrived or has been bought or whatever, and it looks very nice but very tatty. This is a vehicle that is kind of half done in the process of restoration, and of course the one that we've been admiring all week is this one here, which is actually ready for delivery. Where did you get this one from, and where do you get most of your vehicles from? Africa or overseas?
In Africa you will basically get pickups. and more to the north you will find FJ40s, the short wheelbases, but not likely in South Africa. You will find a little bit, but not a lot. Even the troopers weren't found in South Africa. This specific one was found in Australia, in Tasmania, and it was an ex-military vehicle. The client of mine found it over the internet. He found a friend of him in Brisbane, and the guy went and bought it, and he basically shipped it back to South Africa and imported it. It took him a good year to get the car on his name, so he's actually now ready to restore this car.
So the client found the car, brought it to you. Your job is now to transform it and restore it. And how long will that process take?
A detailed process, stripping this car to the very last bolt and back, can take anything between 6 months and a whole year. I always say a job like this, if you want to bill every second of it, no one's going to do the work. So this part of the work we do is actually more a passion, and you can't bill the time you spend on this. But yeah, also I'm not in the restoring of the 40s. It's not the money-making part of my business. It's more giving back to the Land Cruiser community, to show them out there that this is how it looked when it was built the day it was manufactured.
So you have another one over there that is complete and ready for the client to collect, yes?
Yes.
Can we go and have a look at it?
Yes. This is basically came out of Zambia. It was imported through South Africa but went straight to Zambia because you can't register left and drive in South Africa. But the guy went hunting in Zambia and he found it on a farm, and he convinced the guy to sell it to him. It came on the back of a truck. It worked very hard in his day. The client actually told me at one stage there was 2 buffaloes on the back of the car. It's hard to believe for the space, but the way the tailgate looked, you can actually think there was something massive on it. But yeah, but still, for some reason, the car was kept original. So, and this is actually, I didn't sandblast this car. The bodywork was so clean. It worked, but it was clean. So I decided not to sandblast this. And we just stripped everything to the metal. And we took it back because it was such a special car. It's a BJ46. I think it's one of the last ones that came out. It's not a short like the 40. It's more a mid-range. And everything just, I actually had to replace every single electrical light, badges, everything, handles, wipers, every single thing, rubbers. Everything was worn down, but it was still there. So you can see, you could see what it looked like the day it was built. So, and even the original bumper, brand new. So and all the mechanical, it was stripped down to the bare metal. Every single diff bearing was replaced, prop shafts been replaced, wheel bearings, brakes, brake pipes, every single thing was replaced. So this, as the car stands here, you can almost say it's a new car.
So acquiring all of those components that you've put into it, are easy to find on the worldwide market?
The left-hand drive, most of the parts is available in America. We were looking for some odd parts, and the people in America let us know it's actually not available anymore, and they don't even have second-hand. So they said we must do the African way and manufacture it ourselves. So what I basically did was I tried to look from different models, which parts are the same, or what can I modify so it will look the same. So even the cluster is a 24 volt, so I couldn't use our local one.
People are going to see this video all over the world. A lot of them are going to be fans of old Land Cruisers. Can they send you a vehicle and you'll restore it for them?
Definitely. We had in the beginning clients from Namibia, Botswana, all with Land Cruisers. We basically rebuilt, and over the years we've had some interesting people coming around with Land Cruisers. We had people coming from England. They drove through Africa and they came to us, and we did repairs for them, and even some of them we restored their cars, and then they drove back to England. We had German people that did overlanding, and they came for complete repairs, and that's something we can do. And like I said, the world is so small at the moment. You can put it in a container, ship it to us, we repair it and ship it back.
Well, I say run, let it shine like glory, like you were young and you had no worries, like there was no fear or doubt to fill your heart. Oh no, 'cause all your days, your days just begun. Wishful thinking, pick yourself up and move to the beat of your heart and soul. Sing a song for the dreamer.
Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe and click the notifications bell so you don't miss our weekly videos.